Hi my dear readers, this is Simona Rich. In this video, I wasn't sure whether I should share it with you, but I thought that I would. It's about a spiritual experience, and usually I don't anymore share my spiritual experiences because people usually attack and they misunderstand and so forth. But I thought that I will share this particular experience because I haven't had it in such a long time, since my Christian days. And that's an encounter with low vibration. Not low vibration, I did not feel low vibration, but obviously that entity had negative intentions. And when I denounced my involvement with Christianity, those encounters with such questionable spirits finished, and I believe that many Christians have totally opened doors to entities of all sorts because they basically gave up their life for Jesus. And I do believe that Jesus could be the morning star Lucifer, because when I renounced Christianity in this way, I told that if any entity has deceived me and I'm worshipping something that I'm not supposed to worship, something that pretended to be the entity that it isn't, then I renounce my involvement and I close all the doors. And then all those experiences finished, and those entities were not able to touch me anymore. And this was a very interesting experience. Basically, it happened today, and I was doing live assessment of my client, and it was around 5:30 or something like this PM, and I suddenly heard very loud thunder, and it even when even the window glass reverberates because of the loudness of the sound. It came out of nowhere, and there was no rain after it, nothing like this. It just out of nowhere that thunder came, and straight after it I felt sleepy. So I thought, okay, I feel sleepy, I will take a nap. So I very quickly fell asleep and found myself on the bench sitting with some lady, and we were talking about something, and there were many kinds of birds around us, and then those birds started flying away, and that lady also left, and I found myself in the presence of the entity that I wasn't able to see, and that entity started actually kissing me. And then I called the name of my boyfriend to find out whether maybe he's in spiritual form, came to visit me because he misses me. But then again, that time in India, he was working when, there was no chance for him of taking a nap. So anyway, I just in case to make sure if it's him, I called his name, asked whether it's him, and that entity was silent. Then I froze, not out of fear, I wasn't fearing at all. I felt nothing, but I just did not respond in any way. I did not want that entity to feed off me, so I did not allow any kind of energy of fear or anything else to be transferred for that entity to feed on. So I stayed like this for a minute, and that entity could not do anything to me because I did not give any permission. So basically what happened is that it got angry and it had to leave, and it kind of swore that it had to go. And then I thought I woke up, and I woke up actually in another scene, which was in my childhood home, the first home that I grew up in two homes. At around the age of 16, I moved to a bigger apartment. So basically, I woke up in the bed of my old home, and the TV was on, and I woke up and I went to the door, and it was opened. And then I saw that the door was familiar, and then I realized I'm actually in my childhood home. I know that door. I knew that door very, very well, and it was open. And then I woke up. So that was actually very obvious, especially as I know astrology. That was referring to the fourth house of the roots, of your root. And I intuitively knew that it's something to do with current transits. So I checked my transits, and lo and behold, indeed, this negative entity encounter was caused by the opening caused by the transit, which was done through my fourth house of the self, of the root, because ascendant rules your outer behavior, descendant rules how you behave with others, and also has information about the people that you will have a deep involvements with. Midheaven is about your public persona, and the nadia is the, refers to the root of your being.
For example, here I have Oprah's chart, just for an example. And if a planet is transiting through her fourth house, especially if it hits this place, the cusp of the fourth house, then it may mean that if it's like a negative planet and a mystical planet, then it may mean that negative entity has access to you, especially if it aspects negatively another planet that is considered malefic. And if retrograde planets are involved, it's even worse. And if it involves your 12th house, and if you have a malefic in your 12th, that's even worse. And also if a transit happens through your 12th house, that also could mean that some negative entity at that time may have access to you.
So these transits caused this, the negative entity to be able to reach me, because one of the transits was done through the fourth house. And I got several requests of people to analyze my own natal chart. But the problem is that my natal chart shows that the people that work against me, and there are many people who want me to see fall and so forth, and they basically, they always attack when they see any weakness. And according to my natal chart, they can use black magic and other spiritual ways to basically cause my downfall. And so if I give my birth time, they have all the information about me. That's why I don't want to share my birth time with such people. So that's the reason so far I said no to interpretation of my own natal chart. So this negative entity encounter happened because of the transits, and that's why it's so important to know your natal chart, what it says, and what the current transits are, what you have to be careful of. And what another very interesting thing happened, that after I refused that negative entity and I woke up, again, loud thunder came, as though it was the arrival of that negative entity. It was then like it was announced by thunder. Maybe it's something to do with electricity and thunder. And then when it departed again, it thundered. It felt right above my home. It was so interesting. But the lesson is that if you encounter something like this in astral travel, for example, and it's astral travel, you can think at that time, you use your own mind, then don't react. Don't react. You don't give any permission. If you do something in a positive way towards that entity, it means you agree. But if you don't react, it can initiate something, but if you don't react, is not given permission, so it can't do anything. And it was so interesting. That entity got angry, but it couldn't do anything, and it left. So that's what happened to me, and I thought I will share it with you. I think I told everything, all the details that I remembered in the dream. In that, so it kind of was astral encounter, and it was done in kind of multiple dimensions. So I was asleep. When I was asleep in the dream, it was so interesting. I never had it before. I did have like waking up in another dream, but before that I wasn't consciously thinking. But that time it was like an astral encounter, because I was able to use my own mind, and then I woke up and it was still in the dream. So that was very unusual. So that's all I wanted to share with you. If you had similar encounters, or you have any remarks to make, please do so in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Take care.